In this video, we'll set up a minimap using the canvas system. We'll create a widget, add the player icon, set up fog of war, and get everything working with our dungeon. Here's what it looks like when we're done. Now let's start by cloning in the Foundry theme. So click on this clone. And we want to set up let's delete this dungeon. And when I hit play, I want to set up my character controller. So let's do that real quick. Before that, we want to import one of the feature packs. Let's get in the first person player. So we have this, and when I hit play, I want the FPS character here inside my fully built dungeon. So we've seen this in the past where we set this up in the build system video. We're going to do that one more time here. So let's directly modify this, blueprint first person game mode. I'm going to open this, and I'm also going to open the player controller. Just add the build system for the player controller, compile, save, close. Open this up. For the game mode, compile, save, override, find player start. And hook that in. And finally we have the get rid of this, pass in the inputs, get the output, put it here, and we're done. Now let's also go to the event graph and begin play and initiate the build. Initiate dungeon build. Okay, now let's see where this is. So it's over here. I want to go to the world settings of my, let's close this. I want to go to the world settings. So I'm going to go to Windows, world settings, and I want to set this here. Let's hit play. And we're in a fully procedural dungeon. Let's also select the dungeon and go to the build system and say randomize seed on build. So okay, real quick, we have this thing set up. Now I want to show a minimap on the side of the screen in a widget so that we have a sense of direction, where we're going and what we've explored. And the minimap would be procedurally generated, and we have fog of war support and different camera modes within the minimap, and we'll explore them now. Alright, so to enable the minimap framework in Dungeon Architect, you need to select the dungeon where you want the minimap to be generated and add in the dungeon canvas component. So dungeon canvas on the dungeon actor. So once you've added it, save it, and the setup for the dungeon actor is done. Now open up the player controller that you're using. In this case, it's the world setting here. I'm going to go here and then see what player controller we have attached here, which happens to be the one first person player controller. All right, so two things we have to do here. First off, add a player component, dungeon canvas player component, similar to the dungeon build system player component. We're going to add dungeon canvas player controller component, and this will take care of setting everything up for you. All right, so now that this is done, we need to show the widget. We'd like to show a widget on the top right corner, maybe, that shows the minimap of your dungeon. So Dungeon Architect comes with a built-in widget called Dungeon Canvas Widget. You just drop it into your HUD and you will have this set up for you. So let's go ahead and create that. So let's go to the Foundry folder and right click user widgets and create a widget blueprint. And let's create a user widget. Let's call it UI HUD. and save that, open this up. So this is our thing. Let's drop in a overlay widget, and this is your screen. Now I want to drop in the canvas so you have this dungeon canvas, which is just drop it in, and we'd like to show this over here. So select the, let's bring it here, and this is good. And I want this to be a bit big, so we're going to wrap this up. Right click on this and wrap with size box, and select the size box, and we can override the width. Let's put in 400. So this forces the width to be of a certain size. We might also want some padding over here, so maybe 40. Okay, compile, save. Now we want to get this HUD into the game, so player controller is a great place to do that. So let's open up the player controller, go back to first person blueprints, player controller, and in the BeginPlay somewhere over here, let's do a sequence, and we are going to add in a, let's create a widget and use the HUD, UI Foundry HUD, the one we just created, and only player could be self, and add this to viewport, compile, save. All right, so now when we play it, we see our level generated randomly, and we also have a minimap and a arrow indicating the player, and the camera pans, and it also zooms out when you speed up and speed down. So you have different camera modes, and you can control how much wave distance you want to have, how much zoom you want to have based on the speed, and even the rotation settings, which we'll look at shortly. Now switch over to the HUD that we created and select the widget and head over to the dungeon canvas category, and under this you have the draw settings, and this is some interesting things like the fog of war. You can have fog of war and a few settings. So let's enable fog of war and see how this looks like. And we have a level with fog of war, and it's not just fog of war, it's also visibility map. So there are two maps. One is the fog of war, where it remembers the things that you have seen, and then there's the visibility map where it shows what is visible. Now stop the game and switch back to the UI, select the widget, and let's also enable this fog of war fully enabled or fully explored. Now hit play, and you see that the fog of war is explored, but the visibility map is updated here. A few more settings. We also have rotation, so there is a camera mode here. Now if I were to change this to entire dungeon, let's see what happens here. You see the entire dungeon is displayed. This is great for full screen maps, which we will see later on. And there's also an interactive mode which you can use for panning and zooming with the mouse in the so we have this, and now we also have another mode where we could rotate to view. So the arrow remains stationary and the entire map rotates, and in this case it's pointing towards the X direction, which seems a bit weird, so we're going to rotate the whole thing by 90 so that the red arrow points upwards. So we have the base canvas rotations. Let's set that to 90. You can also theme the minimaps in any way you want. So we have a theme editor for decorating the themes themselves. So you can create some really beautiful variations. We'll cover that in the next video. However, for displaying the minimap, you have options to add some decorations around it, like in this way. So we have the minimap material template. I'm going to open that up, and what I have done is I've just added a bit of a border around it, and I've put in a circular mask to make the rest of the stuff transparent. So if you open this up in the material, you don't need any of this. You just need this. If you create a texture parameter with the name render texture, this is going to fill it up with, Dungeon Architect is going to fill it up with the actual material, with the active texture that you would be displaying on your minimap, and then you can do stuff on it. So I overlay that with the border texture, and then I mask out the opacity based on this, which is why we get that. We have a few others as well. So depending on your art style and project needs, this is configurable. We also have detailed tutorials on this in the documentations website. And in the next video, we will look at creating an interactive version of this